everyone. I hope you're all keeping well and that you're all going to have a good Easter holidays. Just to help you parents out and give you 5 minutes for a cup of tea and a biscuit, I picked out this really lovely book which I used to read as a child as well, and which is still really popular today. And it's called The Worst Witch Strikes Again by Jill Murphy. And it's a really lovely book. And so we're going to start reading chapter 1 this morning. Chapter 1. Summer had arrived at Miss Cackle's Academy for Witches. Not that it made much difference to the grim-looking school which was perched on a mountain amid swirling mist and pine trees. On the first morning of term, the members of Form 1 sat in class looking a dismal sight in their new summer uniform, which was even more dreary than the winter one. It consisted of a black and grey check short-sleeved dress, bright-ended a little by the sash around the waist, and grey ankle socks with black lace-up shoes. Everyone's knees were startlingly white after spending the winter swathed in itchy black wool stockings. Despite the picture of gloom, the room buzzed with laughing voices, and the pupils all sounded very excited to be back, except for Mildred. Worried would be a better word to describe how Mildred felt as she sat on her desk listening to Maud's tales of what had happened during the holidays. In fact, she wasn't really listening to Maud at all, because she was busy imagining all the dreadful things that were just bound to happen during the coming term. Why, it hadn't even started yet. There were weeks and weeks to get through, and after the appalling report that she'd had at the end of last term, she had promised everyone at home that she really would try this term. Even though Miss Cackle had kindly mentioned the day when she had saved the school from the disaster, it hardly made up for all the days when everything she touched fell to bits or broke, or worse, when she couldn't resist doing something wicked to liven things up a bit. It was the worst report she'd ever taken home. "Mildred," Maud broke into her thoughts, "you haven't been listening to a word, have you?" "Yes, I have," said Mildred. "Well, what did I say then?" asked Maud. You got a pet bat for your birthday?" replied Mildred hopefully. "I told you you weren't listening," cried Maud triumphantly. "That was about 10 minutes ago." The door crashed open and Miss Hardbroom, their terrifying form mistress, swept in like an icy blast, bringing with her a girl whom no one had ever seen before. As usual, everyone nearly jumped out of their skins, and there was a mad scramble as desk lids slammed and people crashed into each other in their hurry to be standing by their desks in an orderly manner. "Good morning, girls," said Miss Hardbroom crisply. "Good morning, Miss Hardbroom," replied the girls. "I hope you're all glad to be back with us," said Miss Hardbroom, narrowing her eyes and glaring at the unfortunate pupils in the front row. "All nice and rested and looking forward to some hard work?" "Yes, Miss Hardbroom," chorused the girls in their most sincere voices. "Good," said Miss Hardbroom, clapping her hands together in a businesslike way. "Now then, this is Enid Nightshade." She extended a bony hand towards the newcomer, who stood with hunched shoulders, looking fixedly at the floor. Enid was a tall girl, even taller than Mildred, but much more ungainly, with big hands and feet. There seemed to be an awful lot of her, though she wasn't exactly fat. Her hair was the colour of milky tea, and was restrained into a long, thick plait. But you could tell that it would be very wild and wavy once it was unleashed from the black hair ribbon. "Enid is newly with us this term," said Miss Hardbroom. Mildred, Enid is to be entrusted to your care. I must point out that this is not my idea, but some strange notion of Miss Cackle's that if you are awarded such a responsibility, it may actually turn you into a responsible member of the community. Personally, I feel it a great loss to send young Enid off down the path of ill fame with you, when we could all breathe easily if someone like Ethel were to show her the ropes. Ethel, the form sneak and goody-goody, smiled demurely at this point, and everyone felt like hitting her. However, continued Miss Harborough, perhaps I shall be proved wrong. I certainly hope so. Please make sure that Enid knows where everything is, Mildred, and keep her company for the next few days. Thank you. Now, Enid, take the desk next to Mildred and let us begin the lesson. The first school assembly will be tomorrow morning in the Great Hall. Crumbs, thought Mildred, sneaking a look at Enid, who had crammed her huge frame into the neighbouring desk. We won't get much fun out of her. But Mildred couldn't have been more wrong. So let's find out what happens soon. Join me again. Goodbye for now.